Hello guys and welcome to the first episode of Wind and Rain, the Art of War. In today's episode, this is the first one, we're gonna go over identifying win conditions and also how we play towards them. During the draft, we will have a little bit of a different approach, looking at what we want to achieve in the draft and how pro teams also kind of manage it overall. And then afterwards we're gonna dive into the game, look at certain scenarios, how they executed it, and maybe even look at what they could have done better, or also identifying and showing exactly what pro teams are doing and how they are communicating most of the things in the game. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's go over the draft really quickly, guys. So we have, first we're gonna look at the point of view from G2, the way they drafted. Let's look at their threats and their win condition overall. Coming in here, we have an Alistar as a first win condition, or an engage tool, I would say, with the flash timer. So every 5 minutes they have the flash available, they will look to go for like a flash engage. If he has the masteries, of course, it goes down to like 430, a little bit less cooldown there. Then also they have Olaf as an engage tool to dive the backline. Another win condition is having Ornn here as a long range engage, something that they can use to, like, in certain scenarios where they have the full rotation available towards mid, for example, when they also have the Akali here as a kill pressure on level 6. Now, they also have another win condition which is a little bit more subtle, which is Tristana, 3 item power spike. When this condition is met, they can look to play front to back, but generally this side of the whole draft, G2, they want to like close it out in the beginning. They want to have a good start with Olaf, and then afterwards snowball, get into the mid game ahead, play around the tools that they have. Ornn ultimate as a long range engage, dive their backline, Alistar flash engage, Olaf. They want to definitely get deep into them. So let's look at Supermassive's win condition. So first of all, we have Varus as an engage tool. Another one is Skarner. So they have 2 tools to play around. Of course, they have the Skarner flash, the Predator as well. They have the ultimate from Varus, which is key. So both of these, this is a big win condition for them. Another thing is that right now, looking at the draft, this is actually beautiful. So they were choosing the Akali here, which is a flex. It can go towards top, it can go towards mid. Both teams kind of want to feel each other out, because this is also the first match of the whole series. Both teams, they don't know much of each other. Of course, both teams did their homework. They were watching a lot of VODs from the summer split from G2, so they know generally what they want to have. I see great bans here. This is all good stuff. We have Würger being banned because it's way too strong. Hjarnan's Heimerdinger is banned out as well. We have G2, like Hjarnan's signature champion, Jhin as well. Zarya, I think, is totally fine. So all of these are great bans that we can see here. They paid respect, and also they didn't give them much room to breathe. So this pick overall denies them on the side lane. So right now they have pressure on the side with the Tamkench. They can greatly react as well towards these engage tools here. So I would say this is a really good pick here in the scenario. Another thing is that they have Zilean on top of that in a really fairly good situation here. So they had a like white champion pool that they could choose from on mid lane, that GBM is like able to play. They choose Zilean, so right now the pressure is a bit on side note. He has to play really well in the teamfights later on and play around the ultimates that they have. Usually teamfights would look like this, that G2 is trying to dive the backline, Supermassive is pulling back, kiting back, and then re-engaging if they have the opening. Looking at side notes, flash ultimate available, or on the Predator as well, fabulous. Maybe like looking at the flank, but primarily they want to hit frontline, front to back, and playing it slow, of course. So overall, let's keep that in mind. What we can expect from both teams in the game. Probably towards the mid game, they will look to fight like on either on the lane or even in an open area. This is exactly what Supermassive is trying to look for. They want to look to play around the Varus ultimate, play around the Skarner, Flash and the Predator, looking for picks, and then they are not really forced to do anything. So the main point here is that G2 is on the button. they need to play aggressive. They need to look for an opening, and they kind of in the need of winning in early, so they kind of get ahead and get the mid priority at some point in the game. Let's go to some scenarios and go over that. So before we go into the game, I want to go really briefly about the pathing from the early game. We have Olaf starting on the wolves, then afterwards going for the blue, doing the gromp as well, doing the crab and then alternating towards bot side. He's pretty much just doing a standard clear where he starts the blue buff. Olaf is a mana dependent jungler if he throws the X's. He has really nice clear timing, because the lower he gets with the HP, the faster he attacks, the faster his clear speed is. At the same time, when he's doing the top side, going back towards the bot side, we had Akali coming in towards this, covering up for Olaf, so Skarner cannot invade and take the camps from him away. We had GBM on level 1 trying to steal some of the small waves. I think it was a really smart attempt, but is in hindsight is really hard to pull off with Zillion. Then level 1, they saw that Skarner was starting on the top side, so they know that he's somewhere here, just doing a normal pathing, coming from top side towards bot side. Okay, so now what does this mean? Afterwards, he would just do the bot side, then after doing the last camp, going back to the base, coming on back to the top side at 4 minutes, the camps come back in. And now we have Akali kind of in a sweet spot, where the sooner he gets towards level 6, the kill pressure goes on, and if he's getting some good trades, hitting an E as well, Zillion has to respect. And at some point, if he's sitting on a slow push, he has to push it out. So the map will look something like this, and then they have an opening. They can look for something. So if he can hit an X or something, if he can play towards that, maybe they can look for a flash. On mid lane, in this matchup, anyone who loses flash, or anyone who loses like an ability, like ultimate or something, this will result in them losing mid priority, like the push priority. So this is actually tremendously important in this whole situation. Bot lane is just a farm lane, and top lane, well, I didn't include on here because those are two meatheads anyway, so those are just tanks. Let's not look too much into that. Let's dive into this situation of the game. We didn't go over the first part, it happened on bot lane, but right now, afterwards, they got the bot lane turret, so G2 is kind of starting to snowball a bit. Now, we can see that Supermassive's thought process at this time, right now, was to take the Rift turret, then afterwards, after they took the top, they resetted the wave, so this cannot be on a freeze. Actually, if this is on a freeze, it would be really bad for them, so they denied the freeze as well. Then afterwards, just taking the Rift turret, and then looking to either use it on the next reset towards mid, and break open the whole map. So, how is G2 reacting towards that? They already got the bot lane turret. They kind of want to snowball. Now they see GBM disrespecting on mid lane here. We see him walking up too far. They have no vision on the bottom side as well. Right now we have on completely being in the fog of war, and now they just pull out the trigger. In this situation, let's think about what we were talking about in the draft. G2 has to look for these opportunities. They have to pull out, like, whenever they see a mistake, they have to play towards their win condition, which is diving the backline, looking for an opportunity, because they have to get ahead in the early game, they have to snowball. So after this, now I think Supermassive is just greatly responding towards that. We see that Chitana was taking over the wave on the top side. Then afterwards, we see the TP from Fabulous coming in. Snowflow is getting ready. He will like save the day by saving GBM here with the flash. Great play from both. Now we have a key situation again. Varus was hitting the ultimate on the Alistar. That was really, like, it was actually on the edge. That was a max range ult. And then afterwards, they will just get the mid turret, reset, and then probably playing towards Rift Herald again. Great stuff from Supermassive.